Let's start off with our top story at this hour. Amid the looming political crisis in Jharkhand, 3 buses were seen leaving the Jharkhand CM Soren's residence. This amid reports that CM Soren can be disqualified as an MLA. The government in Jharkhand is led by Congress RJD JMM alliance. In the 81-member Jharkhand Assembly, the ruling alliance has 30 MLAs of JMM, 18 MLAs of Congress and 1 MLA of RJD. Earlier, the Jharkhand CM hit out at the opposition, claiming that they're using ED, CBI and other central agencies to destabilize his government. So Soren added that he will fight till the last drop of his blood. His party JMM has stated that it will move the Supreme Court if CM Soren is disqualified as an MLA. While the Jharkhand governor's order is awaited, the suspense continues. Mohit joining us for more details at this point in time. Mohit, of course, at this point in time, there is still suspense over what's going to happen in terms of the disqualification itself. But if you can break it down for us, the various scenarios that are likely to play out.
Well, you see, in the afternoon, after the meeting of the Mahagathbandhan MLAs, they were taken into a bus and it was being speculated that they might go to Raipur, where we have a Congress government. And then the biggest challenge in front of Hemant Soren is that to keep the flock together of the Mahagathbandhan. Given the fact that it's been almost 2 days, nothing has come from the governor's house, and hence some of the MLAs were getting uncomfortable, and hence it was very important for the Mahagathbandhan to keep the flock together, to assure them that the government is safe, because what they have been saying is that their numbers are there, they have the numbers. But you see, in the afternoon, they went to Lapratu Dam. We saw the pictures of Hemant Soren with the other MLAs, and they were voting over there. So it was kind of a de-stress state. But what we are also getting to know is that they have left Lapratu Dam. So that trip was almost for 3 to 4 hours, and now they are coming back. Now, what we are being also told is that they might directly come to CM Soren's residence, and after that, at night, they might move to Raipur. So all the permutation combinations are going on, hectic parlays are going on, but as of now, nobody can speculate what exactly would be the next step of the governor, and also what exactly would be the next step of Hemant Soren, because it was speculated that he will be taking all the MLAs to Raipur, but they went to Lapratu, which is around 30 kilometers from the capital of Jharkhand, that is Ranchi. Now, you see, we also have various scenarios that are playing out. Now, the first one being, if according to the EC's recommendation, Hemant Soren is disqualified as the MLA, then he can again stake claim to form the government with the support of the other MLAs. But if he's barred from contesting elections from a period of more than 6 months, then the problem arises, and that is the bone of contention. Given the fact that there are reports that his wife, Kalpana Soren, could be the chief minister, or somebody from the Soren family could be the chief minister, or some other JMM leader could be the chief minister. But will that face be acceptable to the other leaders of the Mahagathbandhan, specifically from the Congress party? That is the million-dollar question. And that is why we have seen that from past 2 days, 3 to 4 meetings have happened, and CM Hemant Soren's president, though as of now, the Mahagathbandhan say their flock is together, they are together with Hemant Soren. But in politics, you cannot predict anybody's next move. Now, another scenario that is also prevailing is that Hemant Soren might also reach out to the Supreme Court after the order comes, but all depends on the governor's order. Now, the governor will send the order to Election Commission in Delhi, then the Election Commission will inform about that to the State Election Commissioner, and then it will be communicated to the Speaker of the House. So it's a process that will take place. Now that process is taking time, and that is why Hemant Soren had various meetings, and they want their flock to be together, because you see, BJP is out of the game as of now. They do not have the numbers. They have 28 numbers. Half a mark is 41. They need 13 MLAs, and then all that anti-defection law and everything would come in. But they have the hawk's eyes. They want that the election should be again should take place in Jharkhand, and this is where the bone of contention is, because if again there is a possibility that if the president rule is being imposed and then the elections happen, then many of the MLAs would be uncomfortable. So that is why all the MLAs have been put in together. Now in the evening, what we expect that there is also a Congress Legislative Party meeting, and after that they might move to Raipur. So everything can happen in Jharkhand.
Yes.
It's very interesting that by every second the political scenario is changing.
Yes, absolutely, Mohit. Thank you so much for breaking that down for us. Like you said, one never knows how it can play out where politics is concerned. But to bring in some more analysis and perspective, Dr. Sumanth Raman, political analyst, is joining me here on the broadcast. Thank you very much, Dr. Raman, for speaking to us here on Mirror Now. Your first takeaway with respect to everything that's happened here as far as Hemant Soren is concerned, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if this disqualification notice does come through, which is expected, is it still possible for Soren then to go ahead and once again stake claim to form the government and then stand for elections? Because the EC has said he can still stand for elections.
Before we go into that, Amni, I have one question.
Yes.
How do we know that the EC has recommended that the Chief Minister be disqualified? How do we know that? Just answer that question. Clearly, it is a leak. This is a confidential information which is to be sent by the Election Commission to the governor. Now, how on earth does the BJP know what the Election Commission has recommended to the governor? Is this not a farce of making a farce of the activities of the Election Commission? Look, this is privileged information. The Chief Minister's office says they have not received any communication from the governor, right?
Yes.
And the Election Commission is supposed to send its recommendation to the governor through a confidential note. Yet this is leaked to the press to create the panic that we have seen today, so that the MLAs are quickly rounded up and packed off to a resort in Kunti. So let's be very clear. This is again probably another attempted Operation Kamal. We saw we have seen replays of this across several states in the country, and probably the BJP is trying its luck now with Jharkhand. But the point remains that Mr. Soren will almost certainly approach the Supreme Court. There is the possibility of the court, hypothetically, there is a possibility of the court granting a stay, in which case nothing happens to him or his government. Even if he doesn't get a stay, there is always the possibility for him to contest again. If you remember in the Karnataka MLA's disqualification case, the Supreme Court said that they could contest, they are not barred from contesting the election again.
Yes.
So it is possible for Mr. Soren to contest again, but I think we are jumping the gun. We are getting ahead of ourselves. Right now, the governor is yet to communicate the EC's report on the recommendation to the Chief Minister's office. And will Mr. Soren automatically resign, and thereafter will he be in a position where somebody else from his family or a senior leader of the JMM is temporarily appointed, or does he seek relief from the Supreme Court? Will he get it? There are too many imponderables. The only thing we know is clearly using central agencies, there is an attempt to destabilize yet another opposition government in the country, and this has become the pattern. We saw what happened in Bengal. We saw what happened in Delhi, where Mr. Satyendra Jain, now Mr. Manish Sisodia is under pressure. So this is an action replay, and this time it is the state of Jharkhand. So almost it's like one after the other, there are attempts to destabilize opposition ruled states using agencies, whether it is ED, IT, CBI, and now the EC.
Yes, absolutely. While one can't deny it all, what you're saying, Dr. Raman, my question to you is this. For an election commission, let's sort of put aside the fact that this information was supposed to be confidential and it was leaked. That may be the case. But the fact that the EC is recommending that a sitting CM be disqualified, isn't that in itself, have to have strong reasons for something like that? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't remember last time when something like this happened. Perhaps you do. If you can shed some light on that aspect.
Look, I can remember many former chief ministers getting into trouble with various agencies, including Mr. Yediyurappa, who, for instance, got similarly embroiled in that Lokayukta case and so on. But coming to this particular case of Mr. Hemant Soren, I mean, the charges seriously are for a chief minister, considering the man is running the state. The charges that 0.88 acres, that's less than 1 acre of a mining lease, was awarded to a company associated with Mr. Soren, right? And this happened in 2021. Now, you can work out for yourself what the value of a 0.88 acre mining lease would be. But it seems bizarre that that a chief minister would put himself at risk by something done virtually in the open. This is not something that was covered up. This was not something. This was an order issued by the government, a lease granted in favor of this company. So I think that this is extremely unlikely that Mr. Soren would have put himself in such a awkward position, and that too over a 0.88 acre mining lease, which really, I mean, if you look at it from a perspective of the size of scams associated with chief ministers, is practically very trivial.
Yes, fair enough. Dr. Raman, what next? I mean, of course, we've talked about, you said that this is yet another instance of a misuse of agencies and things like that, and Operation Kamal. But from the BJP's perspective, what would BJP like in an ideal scenario at this point in time? Because like my colleague was pointing out, right now they don't have the numbers.
Well, they are, but that has never, when has that ever stopped the BJP from trying to topple an opposition government? Look, there is an attempt in Delhi, for God's sake. I mean, with 62 MLAs, Mr. Kejriwal's government could potentially be destabilized. So there is no reason why Hemant Soren's government cannot be destabilized. There are 18 members from the Congress party. There are 30 members from the JMM. So clearly the plan could be have the governor communicate. The governor does not have any discretion in the matter. He will have to communicate the EC's order to the chief minister, probably today, probably tomorrow. Thereafter, continuance of Mr. Hemant Soren, does it become untenable? Does he immediately approach the Supreme Court and get relief? But the BJP will be hoping that, the clear fact that so many of these MLAs have been herded into a resort itself is clear indication of what the plan of the opposition in Jharkhand is going to be. And 18 Congress MLAs are vulnerable all over the country. So if the BJP needs just 15 more members to form a government, it is not inconceivable to see them break or procure enough MLAs to make that possible.
All right, Dr. Raman, thank you so much for joining us with your perspective. At least for now, the suspense continues. We'll have to wait and see how this entire scenario, the politics there, plays out.